Hello, Ace in 2020. My name is Kristen, and for the last 8 years, I have been part of children's programming. Children's programming is one of our very special panel rooms that we have specifically for our young congoers. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to see them this year due to the quarantine, so I've decided to bring a little piece of the children's room to you digitally. Don't you love technology? I'm going to be sharing some short Japanese folk tales throughout this digital con with the help of Floyd. Floyd is my bunny puppet who is one of my very good friends, yes, been with me for many years, and because I don't have a physical book and there's no cool pictures, he's going to be the distraction while you listen to me read. So, let's get started. The very first folk tale I will be reading today is called The Two Frogs. Two. Yeah. You don't have fingers, I know, I'm sorry. The Two Frogs. Once upon a time, in the country of Japan, there lived 2 frogs, one of whom made his home in a ditch near the town of Osaka on the seacoast, while the other dwelt in a clear little stream which ran through the city of Kyoto. At such a great distance apart, they had never even heard of each other, but, funnily enough, the idea came into both of their heads at once that they should like to see a little of the world. And the frog who lived in Kyoto wanted to visit Osaka, and the frog who lived in Osaka wished so much to go to Kyoto, where the great Mikado had his palace. Yeah. So one fine morning in the spring, they both set out along the road that led from Kyoto to Osaka, one from one end and the other from the other. The journey was more tiring than expected, for they did not know much about traveling, and halfway between the two towns there arose a mountain which had to be climbed. It took a long time and a great many hops to reach to the top. But there they were at last, and what was the surprise of each to another frog before him? They looked at each other for a moment without speaking, and then fell into conversation, explaining the cause of their meeting so far from their homes. It was delightful to find that they both felt the same wish, to learn a little more of their native country. And as there was no sort of hurry, they stretched themselves out in a cool, damp place, and agreed that they would have a good rest before they parted ways. Yeah, a little sleepy. "What a pity we are not bigger," said the Osaka frog, "for then we could see both towns from here and tell if it was worth our while going on." "Oh, that is easily managed," returned the Kyoto frog. "We have only to stand up on our hind legs and hold on to each other, and then we can each look at the town he is traveling to." That idea pleased the Osaka frog so much that he at once jumped up and put his front paws on the shoulder of his friend, who had risen also. There they both stood, stretching themselves as high as they could, holding each other tightly so that they might not fall down. The Kyoto frog turned his nose towards Osaka, and the Osaka frog turned his nose towards Kyoto. But the foolish things forgot that when they stood up, their great eyes lay in the backs of their heads, and that though their noses might point to the places to which they wanted to go, their eyes beheld the places from which they had come. "Dear me!" cried the Osaka frog. "Kyoto is exactly like Osaka. It's certainly not worth such a long journey. I shall just go home." "If I had any idea that Osaka was only a copy of Kyoto, I should never have traveled all this way," exclaimed the frog from Kyoto. And as he spoke, he took his hands from his friend's shoulders, and they both fell down to the grass. Then they took a polite farewell and set off for home again. And to the end of their lives, they believed that Osaka and Kyoto, which are as different to look as 2 towns can be, were alike as 2 peas. The end. Yeah, I know it's a little sad that they didn't get to travel. That's okay, though. Maybe we'll have a better, happier ending in another story. But for this one, in this video, that's it. So I'll see you in the next recording. So will Floyd.